just because he is different. But if the weirdo keeps working on his unique thoughts, one day he'll prove how special he is. Walter has been different since he was born. Even as a child, he loved playing with screwdrivers instead of toys. Walter used to mess with every machine in sight and keep inventing weird devices like glitter bombs. His mother was a policewoman, and luckily she understood his passion. She believed that one day Walter's inventions will change the world. Unfortunately, she didn't stay alive to see her child's success. It's been 14 years and Walter has grown up now. He hasn't received any distinction yet, but fate is going to be kind to him soon. Lance Sterling, the most talented spy of the HTUV secret agency, is on a special mission. He isn't nervous at all and enters the Japanese gangster's headquarters. He knocks off the guards effortlessly and releases his drones to get a view of the building. His supervisor Jenkins informs him about the owner of the building, Katsu Kimura. He's the notorious arms dealer who's selling off one of the most dangerous weapons ever made. It's the M9 Assassin, the first semi-autonomous attack drone powered by atmospheric energy. It never shuts down and never stops pursuing its target. It was stolen from HTUV's labs and Sterling must get it back. Jenkins advises Sterling to wait for his team as 70 Yakuza are coming his way, but Sterling likes to work alone. He cuts off the connection and sneaks inside the building through the huge fish tank. He blasts the glass off and surfs out. After the introduction, Sterling asks for the briefcase with the weapon. Kimura gets angry and jumps to punch the daring spy, but Sterling knocks him down in a single strike. He then asks the buyer to give up too. The buyer is a mysterious guy with a metallic hand. He grabs Sterling's face and scans it with his robotic eye. Sterling uses an electric eel to break out of the hold, but before he can attack back, the Yakuza surround him from all sides. Fearless Sterling doesn't seem threatened at all. He takes out his grenade lighter to blow up the place, but it turns out to be a cat and glitter bomb instead. Everyone gets distracted by the cuteness, and Sterling takes this as a chance to attack. He breaks the huge bell and throws his rocket cufflinks under it. Before anyone can catch him, Sterling flies out and passes through the buyer's helicopter. He sneaks away the briefcase and lands safely with his glider suit. His success story has already reached the HTUV headquarters and everyone is cheering for him. All the employees there are his huge fans and Sterling loves interacting with them, though he doesn't have much time as he wants to meet the person who messed with his lighter, and guess what? It was Walter. He has recently joined the company and was responsible for making the grenade, but he made a glitter bomb instead. Sterling explains the danger he faces in his missions and that Walter's mistake could lead to death. However, Walter believes that everyone should use other approaches instead of violence. Sterling asks him for the last time if Walter is going to follow the exact orders or not, but the boy is stuck with his peace thoughts. He also mentions the invisible formula he's working on. It will help the spies work without violence. Sterling is done with the nonsense and fires Walter. The poor boy is left heartbroken while Sterling makes his way to Jenkins. He hands over the briefcase, but unfortunately there's nothing inside it. Before Sterling can think about what happened, he gets accused of stealing. Agent Marcy from Internal Affairs has brought CCTV footage that clearly shows the face of the thief. It's really Sterling. The poor spy is in equal shock. He believes that the buyer must have done some science after scanning his face and making a realistic face mask. However, Marcy doesn't agree to the loose statement and arrests Sterling. He isn't giving up so easily and shuts down the room's electricity. Marcy follows him outside, but Sterling cleverly turns on the security in time and escapes in his high-tech car. Meanwhile, the real thief continues committing crimes with Sterling's face. Sterling must reach the buyer, but only Kimura knows him and he is in Mexico. Sterling wishes that he were invisible and tracks the culprit without getting caught. This reminds him of Walter's weird invention. He's working on his invisible formula and testing it on his pet pigeon. It works, and the pigeon's feather disappears in water. While Walter is celebrating, Sterling breaks into his house and asks for the formula. Walter feels really honored and offers a drink. Sterling grabs the water glass Walter is holding and chugs it down. He doesn't know he has already drunk the invisible formula, but there's a slight variation. As the water already contained the pigeon's DNA, so Sterling is going to turn into a pigeon. The transformation has already started, and Sterling feels uneasy. He tries to run away, but his condition is getting worse. He suddenly feels relaxed, followed by severe pain. Just in a few minutes, his body shrinks and he turns into a talking pigeon. Sterling demands the antidote right away, but unfortunately Walter hasn't formulated that yet. Moreover, he informed Jenkins about their meeting. Sterling gets frustrated and decides to drive away as soon as possible. However, he forgot he's just a pigeon and can't even get in the car by himself. He must rely on Walter for a while. They both get in the car and it drives in automatic mood. Marcy rushes after them, so Sterling wants to slow her down with the car's weapons. Walter doesn't like the violent idea and keeps deactivating the weapons. The car's system gets shut down by the sudden commands and the vehicle completely loses control. The car drives through the buildings and over the agency's vehicles. Walter uses the oil spill, but it flows in the wrong direction and ignites a fire. After dropping down the bridge, the car's system finally recovers and drives smoothly. They have escaped Marcy, but the adventure has just started. Sterling gets on the plane to Mexico with Walter. He still needs the boy to operate touchscreens and formulate the antidote. After landing, they reach the hotel where Kimura is staying. Sterling easily makes it to the counter as no one suspects a pigeon. He checks the record and prints a card key to Kimura's room. However, the other pigeons are attracted to Sterling and surround him. The receptionist catches them and throws Sterling in the trash. Fortunately, the other pigeons succeeded in bringing the key. They assume Sterling is a part of their group and are willing to help him, but Sterling likes working alone and even leaves Walter behind. He gets inside Kimura's room and talks to him while hiding. Kimura is scared of Sterling and doesn't move a muscle. Suddenly, the other pigeons reach there and Kimura catches Sterling. The famous spy is going to die as a nameless pigeon. Luckily, Walter reaches there in time. Sterling wants to torture Kimura to make him speak about the robo-hand guy. But Walter has a better idea that will not hurt anyone. He uses a chemical that makes Kimura speak the truth and reveals that the robo-hand is in Venice.
Get InDrive and negotiate for a fixed fair price. InDrive, people-driven.
He's going to steal the HTUV database and kill all the agents. While so many lives are in danger, Marcy and the Secret Affairs are more focused on arresting Sterling. They have reached the hotel, but Sterling and Walter jump off that the robo-hand is in Venice. He's going to steal the HTUV database and kill all the agents. While so many lives are in danger, Marcy and the Secret Affairs are more focused on arresting Sterling. They have reached the hotel, but Sterling and Walter jump off the balcony. They hang down on Walter's emergency rope and reach the lift area before falling down in the front yard. The agents have surrounded them from all sides, and Walter's only weapon is his multi-pen, which is eaten by the pigeon. Fortunately, the pigeon pukes out the slime created by the multi-pen, and Walter gets a chance to run away. Marcy examines the scene and feels doubtful about the situation. She must view the case from a different angle. Walter has made the antidote, but it still isn't perfect, and that's frustrating Sterling. He takes out his anger on Walter, but he's trying his best, all because he wants to find a good way to stop the bad. Sterling calls his goals a fantasy. He believes that when the bad guys hit us, we hit them back so hard that they don't dare to come back. But Walter thinks there are no good guys or bad guys. They are just people worth saving. Sterling is shocked at how innocent the boy is. He doesn't know that evil doesn't care that you're nice. Later that night, they travel to the agency's vault in Venice, but Marcy and her team are already there. They catch Walter and ask him about Sterling. Marcy promises to give him a job and a new lab so he can work for human benefits like her mother. Walter doesn't agree and wants to work with Sterling. Suddenly, the agency's building blasts and the M9 assassin flies away with the database chip. Sterling follows it with his pigeon team while Walter borrows a scooter. After a long chase, Sterling gets his claws on the chip, but the evil drone snatches it again. Finally, Walter reaches the scene and catches the chip, but the robo-hand guy catches him. Walter throws breadcrumbs at him, and the surrounding pigeons attack on the evil guy for food. Walter sneaks out in time and gets in Sterling's ship. Moreover, he left a tracker on the robo-hand and they can find his location. Sterling gets really excited and confesses that he hadn't done it without Walter. The sweet boy gets really touched by the statement and hugs Sterling. The spy starts feeling uneasy all of a sudden and lays an egg. That sounds funny, but it helps Walter develop the antidote. Sterling had actually turned into a female pigeon because of the female DNA sample. After knowing this, Walter perfects the antidote and turns Sterling back into a human. They reach the island where the culprit is, but Sterling is back to his proud self. He wants to continue the mission further by himself. Walter thought they were a team, but he doesn't know that Sterling just wanted to keep him safe. He uses a chemical shot to put Walter to sleep while he takes care of the bad guy. Sterling knocks down the M9 assassin and faces the robo-hand, but finds him smiling. The evil guy is definitely not going to kill so many people with a single gadget. He has already made thousands of copies of the killing drone. He's doing this all as revenge. In the last HTUV mission, he was one of the bad guys and saw his people get killed in front of his eyes. There could be another way to catch the criminals, but Sterling chose violence. Whatever is happening today is the result of his careless deeds. Sterling feels like giving up, but then he realizes that Walter is coming back for him. Unfortunately, he gets detected by the robo-hand and gets blasted. The only friend Sterling made has died. He keeps regretting his decisions till the sunset. Suddenly, his pigeon friends reach there, and he turns back to find Walter. He saved himself with his inflatable hug gadget. Sterling apologizes to him and wants to complete the mission in Walter's way. First of all, they inform the agency and call Marcy. She and Sterling distract the robo-hand while Walter tries to hack his control system. Sterling doesn't have many weapons, so he decides to use Walter's weird gadgets. Surprisingly, they seem to work even without hurting a soul. Robo-Hand grabs one of his drones to fly away, but Walter hangs on him with his rubber slime. Sterling grabs him from the backpack but can't hold on for long. Walter flies high above in the sky along with the bad guy. His hacking is complete and the drones can be shut down, but this will kill both Walter and the Robo-Hand. Walter can't take someone's life. He gives the inflatable hug gadget to the Robo-Hand and sacrifices himself. Fortunately, Sterling comes over to rescue him. He has turned himself into a pigeon and brought a flock to land Walter safely. The Robo-Hand is in custody, but he will never forget Walter's sacrifice. Regardless of the services, Walter and Sterling get fired for breaking the agency's rules, but they soon get invited to join again, especially Walter. The world needs more guys like him. If we fight fire with fire, we all get burned. Evil can't be cured with evil. It can only be fixed with a little kindness.